morning. The first question I have is, before this week, how many of you had heard of CMS? Okay, pretty good. So about half. So that's good to know. Thank you, Jay, and we're so thrilled to be a part of the AIN organization. This is our second AIN conference. I believe we joined just before the conference last year. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about who we are for those of you that don't know. And if I talk too fast or have any questions, let me know. This slide presentation has too many slides to be 15 minutes, I can tell you that real quick. So I'm going to skip some slides and kind of stay on the important ones. All right, how do I forward this? There we go. Okay, one of the important things to know is we are one of the largest security monitoring companies. And even if you haven't heard of us, probably it's because we really invest all of our money back into technology. We don't do $200,000 booths at ISC. We do participate, but we really get most of our business by word of mouth and by referrals from our dealers. We have 3 central stations. We've got one in Longwood, Florida, which is basically Orlando, and that's where I reside. And then one in Manasquan, New Jersey, and one in Cypress, California. And that's important. Of course, I'll go into details later, but we've got that geographic diversity when it comes to time zones and handling things that we need to do. We have, actually it's a little bit more than that, monitored subscribers, just under 1 million monitored subscribers, and close to 4,000 dealers that we're working with. All right, I'm going to skip this one because I'm going to talk more about that later. So we've got Manasquan, New Jersey, and we've got different specialties at different, yes?
I have a question.
Yes.
So if I live in Alabama and I had to call the monitoring center, am I going to talk to Jersey or am I going to talk to Florida? Do you regionalize your calling that way?
We don't,
Okay.
and I can answer that. It would be any of the 3 locations.
Okay.
There's different things that we can do, but we've trained our operators, and I'll tell you, there's another slide on that. We've trained our operators. Sometimes people talk about the certain standards, but we have really above what you call 5 diamond standards, so we choose not to participate in that program because we actually have a more extensive training than that. So with our operators, we actually include how to speak to customers, the psychology, and the speed in which you talk. And so we got to go through some of that. So we can, yep. So there we go. All right. So and this is our Longwood location. Pretty much anything that you put a sensor on, we can monitor. So we have, chicken farms. We've got all of the vaccines for the state of Mississippi. We do water levels. We do video monitoring. And all of the main, all of the big players in the industry, we work hand in hand. So a lot of times we are the beta testers for products as they're coming out. Like I said, we've got environmental. Of course, we do the PERS, and we offer services really. Message center, we're a call center, so we provide for our dealers the ability to have message center after hours, so you can. Even at lunch, turn the phones to us, or after hours as well. Keep going a little bit further in Cypress, California as well. Now this is my favorite slide. So we do a lot of things very uniquely, and this kind of summarizes, I know you can't see all the details of that, but one thing that we do is we don't have which most central stations do. We don't have a primary central station and then a backup just in case. So we don't, we're always using our central station. So all 3 locations work on a virtual command center. So the easiest way to explain that is, it's kind of like at your office where you have a phone line that comes in, but it rings at 3 different offices and the first person that's available can get that call. It's the same type of system. So it can be answered at any of the 3 locations. And that's a benefit because number 1, you're going to be more efficient when you're not, where there's the phone may not be ringing in one location, it's ringing off the hook at another location. You can diversify the load. And it makes us very efficient. The other thing is we don't ever have to worry about if a hurricane comes and takes down Orlando, Florida, we don't have to go into panic mode and disaster recovery. We just staff up the other locations. So that is a huge benefit. Sometimes you'll hear about having all of these multiple locations, but they're not linked together, and it could be a receiver in a dark room. You really don't know what's happening. So this makes us very efficient and does make us unique into the industry. You've got the flexibility and like I said, the consistency. So like Jay was mentioning, even if your line terminates at one of the physical locations, we're still running it together. So we're not having to test our data as it comes. I mean, it's all live. We also, you can't see in here, but we also have 2 generators at all of the locations. All of our central stations are UL listed, so we do a lot of the commercial fire, NFPA, UL listed. We work with Verizon and AT&T, some of the best networks. The other thing we do, which is going to be on another slide, is we have what's called a sonic ring at our locations, and so that means that the fiber is coming out at 2 physical different locations. So you're not going to get a backhoe that's going to hit a line and you're going to go down. We've got it, like I said, coming back from the 2 different locations. So we've got redundancy, redundancy, and redundancy, and everything is tested and it's running all the time and doing that. Oh, I keep pointing this the wrong way. Oh, there we go. Oh, so here's what I was talking about with the AT&T Sonic Ring, no single point of failure. We do use Mastermind is our database system that we're using to get the call. This is the one thing that I'm really most proud of, I think, at CMS are the people. The 10-year, we've got a dealer support section that is separated from the call operators, which is another unique thing about us. And so they only handle dealer questions and dealer support. So if you're not going to be trying to put an account online and then having an operator being able to rush you off the phone because they've got to get a signal. It's a completely different section. And we really designed CMS to be able to cater to however you want to run your business. I mean, we have dealers that have been with us 30 years. They have 500 accounts. They lose barely any a year, barely gain a couple a year, and they're calling in everything that they're doing, they're calling for. But we really have it designed. We have some companies that are completely paperless. So you can call in the information, you can fax in the information, you can email the information. All the voice, and then of course we have apps where you can put in the information yourself as well. But the 10-year in our dealer support department, that you'll be up there, is 8.9 years. And I can tell you, anytime I take a dealer that's been with us at least 5 years, they always say, I want to meet with Ken and I want to meet with John Toretti. And Ken is somebody that's been in a dealer support area for 23 years. And John Toretti is one of our techs. So we have very, very strong people that work for us. And in the monitoring, the 10 years 4.1. That's unheard of when you're talking about call center operators. And I really think that speaks volume top down of CMS and the people that we have there to support. It's a really engaging atmosphere. And I can't say enough about the people there. I say I know enough technical knowledge to be dangerous. I've only personally been in this industry a little over a year, so I know enough to be dangerous. But I've got great support people behind me to help find the answers. I've got a right-hand person. She's been there 13 years, and we have by far the best technical staff. In Florida, we've got EF license number 6. I mean, that's how long our guys have been doing technical support. And we have those technical supports in both Orlando and in California. So we've got tech support from 7 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. Now, whenever you insert a human into a process, there's always going to be room for error. So I'm not going to sit up here and say that we're perfect. I think everybody makes mistakes, but the one thing I love about CMS is how we recover from those mistakes, and we learn from them and we fix the process. So, and just like you all, we're learning things every day. The technology is changing. A new product comes out, we're testing it, and and then once we go to the masses and we start, figuring out some things that, like one of the newest products, we found out that the system only tests, even if you want to test it monthly, it goes to a daily timer test. We just find things together. And I can't say again enough about the people and just the support that we have to answer the questions that you need. And then that's why I was talking about the 5 diamond training. I think this is really important. Sometimes there actually are people with it, they start as a call operator and they kind of just I've seen some central stations just in my travels, that will actually just start sitting next to somebody. And that kind of scares me when it comes to, handling the security and safety of your customers. I mean, that's the most important thing. So we actually have a very rigorous training program. We have it at all 3 of our locations. All of our trainers have been with us at least 15 years, trained on the same standard operating procedures, and like we talked about, they do additional training with how to talk to customers, and with our personal emergency response customers, they have additional psychology training on how to handle somebody in that particular. I mean, every time we get a call, it can kind of be, your alarm's going off. Your customers are going to be a little bit anxious, but especially when it comes to your PERS customers. So you would never get somebody. We have depending on the size of class, we have about a 5 or 6 week training program. And they train with all different ways because everybody learns differently. They've got the computers in there. And then before they leave the training, they've got tests along the way. The operators will actually take some low priority calls in the training with their supervisor sitting next to them. Then, once they leave training, they have to prove themselves with their time and the talents to move up in the ranks. So you would never have somebody coming directly out of training handling a commercial fire call, okay? And we like to promote within, so it's a big deal. We have awards, and we, to move up into the ranks and to do, to aspire to be a supervisor. And so I think that's a comfort level that you all should have in knowing, and these are the questions that you should be asking and looking at your central stations if you're not using us and asking these questions, because it really is not the standard in the practice, but yeah, so let's see. Oh, I'm going to quickly go through this. Like I said, pretty much anything that you put a sticker on, we can monitor. We work with all of the major players in the industry. Residential, commercial, open and closed communicator tests, gas alerts, temperature. See, commercial fire, like I said, we're all UL listed and trained in that. We've got somebody that keeps her hiding ring, that keeps the AHJ book on her desk. And if you do commercial fire, like there's new standards that they're going by, like 2013, where, just letting our customers know that if it changes, like right now you could do a 5-minute test, where now in 2013, if your local AHJ adopts it, you can go up to a 60-minute test. That's going to save you money on your communicator cost. Again, we talked about PERS. Way to grow your business and interactive. Again, we work with all of the players in the industry. We do video, VideoFind, iView Now, if y'all are familiar with all of that. Let's see. Oh, again. Looking into doing the CMS. Again, we've got Message Center to be able to handle those after hours and take that off of your hand. We can customize this how you like it. So if you want, only your, we have some Message Center customers that, they want their salespeople taking calls up into 7 o'clock at night. So until 7 o'clock at night, we're going to send them a warm lead to their salespeople. But then after that, then we take messages, or if you only want text. Jay, am I done? Am I up? Close? Okay, wait, let me just real quick. Dealer support, we talked about the benefits of that and the time. I think we're good.